Hi guys, this is Tina. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here for two reasons really. I want to bring along one of my latest kits and also coincide that with a bit more playing around with paper bags. Since my alphabet challenge where we did the P for the paper bags, I just fancied coming along and doing a little bit more and playing around with them a little bit more really. So I'm going to show you this new Digi kit first, which is what I'm going to be incorporating with using the paper bags really. I just again chucked all this lovely goodiness on here just because, you know, I thought it was very pleasing to the eye, and just, yeah, I love it when you kind of just pile things up like that. It all looks really pretty, doesn't it? So I'll just move that out of the way. So this kit here, it's called Teardrop Valley. I originally thought they looked a bit like snowdrops. The blue flowers looked a bit like snowdrops. And when I looked, obviously, I mean, snowdrops are white. So it was, you know, the shapes obviously looked a bit like the snowdrop flowers. So then I thought, oh, what else could I come up with? So Teardrop Valley, and it turns out that actually is a place, and I can't remember now where the place was. But anyway, so that's the name of this kit. So obviously it's available now in my Etsy. It's one of my larger kits. And it comprises, yeah, numerous bits and pieces basically. So if I just show you all what you get first. So now I've got a funny feeling that I've now, yep, worked it up at the very first hurdle. So, right, the first page that I'm going to show you is this one, which for some silly reason I have now printed this on tracing paper, which you're obviously now not going to be able to see. So, let me just have a look and see whether I've got any other versions of that are not on tracing paper. Here we go. I knew that I had done it, and then I obviously put them in different piles. So I did one on tracing paper just to show you how it came out, because I thought it looked really, really pretty. But it is obviously very delicate, the pattern, so you can't really see it at all, to be honest, through the camera. So I'll just pop these to the side as we go. So obviously this is your first sheet. Now this is printed on copy paper, this particular piece of paper. So just to give you an idea of how it looks on copy paper, that's that. Now this is printed on, actually this is 200 GSM like card basically. So you will see that some of these, I've got these great big black marks. These are not on the kit. I'd just like to point that out. These are where my printer obviously struggled to, you know, pull the very thick 200 GSM card through. So please ignore the black marks. But obviously by the time I printed it, I'd run out of card then to be able to do it again. So this is another page of journaling cards, labels, tags, and what have you. It's a really calming kind of kit, I think. The colours of this, they're just really kind of restful and, yeah, really nice. Very nature and, I don't know, tranquility. I think it just brings to mind tranquility and nature and things like that. So you've got loads and loads of different elements. As I say, please excuse these black marks. They are not on the kit. They are purely on my, you know, my copies where the printer has dragged through. Then you've got some of these. You've got this lovely photo here. Little postage stamps that I've just made up here. Again, I mean, it's a very delicate kit, so they're quite faint. So hopefully you can see them nicely. But it, you know, it's unusual that I do something quite pale and not so highly coloured. But I know that obviously a lot of people prefer the pale colours and aren't, you know, aren't quite so keen on the bright colours. So it was nice to do something a bit paler. Then you've got your pocket pieces here with some more journaling cards, little labels and things. And then you've got a couple more pockets, which this time I left them plainer, so that if you wanted to decorate them up, then you can. Then here, I wonder whether I picked up two pieces. No. Here you've just got one of those coin envelopes. And then this one here, I've done this as a kind of booklet. So you would obviously just cut it out and then just fold it in half, and obviously the patterned piece is effectively, you know, your spine basically. So that's, I mean, of course it's up to you, you know, how you actually use it. I'm just merely putting suggestions out there. You've got some banner pieces and things like that. Got a lovely envelope here with a couple of the little stamps that I made, and then some more little bits and pieces here. And then you've got a couple of pages of fussy cuts. Again, please excuse these black marks. They are literally my printer. So, you know, again, please do ignore those. But lots of bits and pieces for cutting out and using in your projects. Then you've got this one with, again, more fussy cut pieces, butterflies, some flowers and things like that. So lots of pieces to have fun with, and, you know, different elements to decorate your projects up. Then here you've got your 2 stationery pieces. So as usual, this is one of the larger style kits. Done it in 2 PDFs. One is the background pages, which we will have a look at in a moment. And one is, you know, what I would call the main body of the kit. And again, at the body of the kit, you've got the stationery pieces at the end. So if you wanted to print them just on plain, regular, you know, copy paper, then they're nice and easy to separate them out and do that. So that's those. These are the actual background pages. So I've forgotten now how many background sheets there were, but obviously I will show you them all now. So again, designed to coordinate really nicely with the kit. I haven't tried coffee dyeing these as yet. I'm pretty sure that they would come out really nice on, you know, coffee dyed paper, or if you coffee dyed them. I just haven't got round to that yet, basically. But I'm pretty sure that they would produce nice effects if they were coffee dyed. So lots of beautiful images here. And again, obviously you could fussy cut pieces out of the background pages as well. I love this page. Really, really pretty. And I mean, these blues, aren't they just gorgeous? So, oops, just going through. And then again, you know, some of them are quite neutral. You've got this gorgeous collaged up page with lots of pieces just kind of layered up as if it's all just been scattered around on there. So yeah, love that page. And then again, I've included a plain background page so that if you wanted to run off kind of, you know, 10 of those or whatever, you could then run it back through your printer and do your, for instance, these back to back with the plain background. Oops, can't even separate it out now to show you, but you know, if you ran that back through your printer, you'd have a plain background, so that when your book page there or your book cover was folded, it would open out and have obviously a plain insert, but not plain as in the white card. So I have tried to include those plain pages in all my more recent kits, to be honest, because I think they're quite handy to have. Anyway, so that's that one. Let me just move all my stuff off of here now, because it's all obviously getting quite messy. I've just had to place it behind me on my chair. So if I just move all of those out of the way, and then I'm just going to show you a couple more things. So these are a couple of the background pages that I've printed onto tracing paper. In fact, let me just bring a sheet back in, put underneath it so as you can see. Isn't that gorgeous? Just looks so pretty on the tracing paper, doesn't it? So that's that one, and then I printed that one with the bees as well. So just really pretty. So that's those on the tracing paper. And what I'm going to do, I'll just move this out of the way. So yes, that entire kit is called Teardrop Valley, and it's obviously available in my Etsy to coincide with this video. And then what I've done here, I just printed off onto the brown paper bag that we were using for the P in the alphabet challenge. I thought I'm just going to see how it looks if I print it out onto the paper bag. So I just cut the paper bag round very, you know, very scruffily. And thought, you know, I'll run that through the printer. I thought the printer was going to struggle with it, but actually it didn't, and it went through fine. And I just thought, wow, that looks really awesome. So I wanted to come and share that with you. This one, obviously, I printed by mistake the wrong page, so I quickly kind of stopped that and whipped it out. So that's why that looks like that. And then I printed off just this, which basically, this is just a graphics fairy image. But I just thought it might be nice to have some plain text, basically, on some of the paper bag as well. So I'm going to just do a little craft along, you know, to coincide with the launch of the kit, but using obviously this brown paper bag. So if we take, for instance, this piece here, I haven't quite decided, you know, even what I was going to do, to be perfectly honest, but I just was inspired by the letter P from the alphabet challenge and just wanted to come along and have a bit more of a play, really. So, I mean, we could do kind of similar pieces really to what we made in that video. So I'm trying to think what we did make now. We did a folding kind of pocket where we then had, you know, the flat kind of folding out like that. So we could have something like that, which is quite nice. And then we could cut off the bottom, and obviously if we've got time, use the bottom for a couple more pieces. So if we were to have that like that, and then we'll just cut it about here. Yeah, I love how this looks on the brown paper bag. And funnily enough, when I was printing it, my mind was just going crazy with all the other, you know, different pages and papers and patterns and things that could be used for printing. And I just thought it was kind of endless, really, what you could do. Excuse me. I was just wondering whether I wanted to have the, you know, the other piece of the paper bag in there, or whether actually it might be nice to have, mix it up with something else, and that also then gives us this little scrap to play with that we could kind of collage up or something. So if we just have a look here. I'm just wondering, actually, I might be able to use one of the smaller pieces, pull it in. Just have a look here. I've got these smaller pieces here from the kit. Oops, I'll just cut them out. And these are just printed onto regular copy paper, so, you know, it's not going to be too bulky against the paper bag. So there we go. It's also not really wide enough, so that's a bit of a shame. I mean, I could obviously cut it down and make it smaller, but I'm going to save that for something else. So let me just have a look here. Just going through the pages that I've just got sat here on my lap, basically. So I've got this sheet here, which is basically very similar pattern, but obviously, as you can see, it's on copy paper rather than the paper bag. So I just wondered what that would look like. Quite nice, isn't it? Yep, I quite like that. So I think we'll just go for that because, you know, oops, just want to crack on and get going really. So we'll just glue that down like that. Yeah, it was coming off on the printer and I was just, you know, thinking of all the different things that would look good on the brown paper bag. So never throw your paper bags away, really. There we go. I mean, I do always love crafting with paper bags anyway, to be honest, but now I've got even more reason to, you know. So I'm just going to tear this off. So as we have a little bit of a scraggedy raggedy edge like that, and then we can have that one over there. Now, do you want that like that or folded in that way? I think we'll have it like that. So again, I'm just going to tear this down because it's a little bit on the neat side for me. I just think it looks somehow better, to be honest, once you've, you know, torn the edge off, really. It just seems to look better. So I'm just going to ink that up a bit. Like that. Okay. And then actually I'm just going to ink up the printed bag piece like that. So I hope everyone's having a good day. Hope you're all doing a bit of crafting. Oops. And I'm just going to ink this up. So I mean, I guess this is going to show us a little bit how it would look if it was coffee dyed. Because the vintage photo looks similar, doesn't it? As I say, I mean, I haven't had a chance to coffee dye any of these papers, but I think they'd probably look really nice. Okay, so I'm going to glue this down just on there. And then I'm just going to run some glue down here, like that. Okay. And then we'll just use that as a bit of a guide to tear that out. And then I might just rough this up a little bit. It's not too much, Sherry. There we go. And just go for that a bit there. I mean, you can probably see, but I've got an overhang there. I mean, that doesn't worry me. I think that's quite nice and it adds a little bit to it. But I mean, obviously, if you don't like that, then, you know, just tear that out. Now, I'm just having a look in my bits and bobs that I've got here. So, I've got this bee, which I really like. Now, this one I've left with a, I don't know what you'd call this, but a faded background, I guess you'd call it. And I've done that, you know, really so that you could kind of just tear around this and it would be a sort of rough circle rather than a solid piece. And again, I mean, that's merely my suggestion. Of course, if you wanted to punch it out with a hole punch or something like that, that would also be perfectly fine. I just thought that the soft edges just were a leaning to, you know, to tear in. And I just thought it sort of suited that really. So, I mean, that's really nice, isn't it? And then, I mean, we've got these little pieces. They're a bit like little old vintage checks. So, I mean, we could pop something like that on. It's so annoying, those drag marks. Yeah, the printer doesn't always like the 200 GSM paper, I have to say. And I think really, perhaps if I use that really thick card, it would be better to clean the print heads first. You know, the printer heads, because maybe then it would be a bit more receptive to sucking that paper through. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not a printer expert, but I'm guessing that that's what those marks are, is the sort of dirty print heads. But, you know, they obviously don't normally mark the paper when it's just thin paper. But once it goes to thicker paper, and, you know, I guess it kind of then marks it a bit more. I mean, that's quite nice, isn't it? And then got that same blue lace that I did use in that video, which again just, you know, really lends itself well to this kit. So I think I'm just going to pop some here across there. I'll just take my 3-in-1 glue. Oops. Take that bit off the top. Okay. Like that. Oops. And we'll just trim that down at the edge. Oh, come on. Oh no, I've cut that a bit short, look. Just try and drag it down a bit, but I mean, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. No one's going to really be measuring it or anything, so. Sorry, my son's just popped up here to say he's just popping out. The weather's really awful, darling, so I don't think we should pop out today. You know, you'll just get drenched walking, wouldn't you? Yeah. Right, so we've got that piece there. Now, I know the irony is we're going to end up covering this whole piece up, but let's pop it kind of this way around. Or maybe they're the wrong pieces for that. What do you think? Now, also I've got this green bling. So, I wonder whether that would go nice. It's quite nice on there, isn't it? Let's just get a bit more of this blue. Oh, I might have to finish it off with a bit more of the blue down the bottom, I think. So we just run that across the bottom. Yeah, it's just a foul day again, so I mean, again, I'm filming these videos ahead, so I do always say this, but it might be that by the time I upload this, we're having a really lovely sunny day. I mean, obviously not sunny as in summer sunny, you know, because we are we are kind of into winter now, but at least it might be fine out there. So I always like to point out that I'm filming these ahead, just in case people think, well, that's very strange, because that's not what the weather's doing today. I'm just reaching down to see what else I've got here beside me in the bits and pieces. So I'm wondering, maybe that piece was too big. What do you think? Let's just cut off a few of these bits and pieces. I'll cut out that section there, and I'm just going to cut out one of these flowers too. Yes, my son is, he's 13 and he desperately wants to get a job, bless him. And he obviously wanted to walk into town to take his CV, and I just think today's not the day. He's just going to get drenched if he goes today. So, and it's so difficult. I mean, I don't know what it's like elsewhere in the world, but they've really made it very difficult for youngsters to get jobs these days. I know that, you know, I had a little job in a shop when I was 12, actually. Had it literally, was like 2 hours every day after school, except for Wednesdays, I think. So it was Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday for 2 hours. And then on Saturdays and Sunday mornings in the summer. I don't think it was Sunday mornings in the winter. And I used to get paid £1 an hour. But, you know, it was fine because I did quite a few hours. So the money obviously mounted up, you know. And, I mean, I was 12, so any money was better than no money. But now, certainly, you know, here in this country, they've made it so difficult. I think partly because there's so few independent shops, or independent businesses, I guess. And all these, you know, like corporate kind of organisations and, you know, big chain shops and things. I mean, they don't really employ youngsters. They want to have certainly school leavers, you know, people a bit older. So it's very tough now for really young ones to be able to get jobs. And I just think, oh, excuse the back of that, you know, then we all moan and say that the youth of today are lazy. And it's kind of like, well, no wonder they're turning out lazy if they are, because they're not really getting that kind of sense of work ethic, you know, like we used to, because they're not able to get jobs. So, yeah, it's really difficult. I mean, I think if you live kind of out, you know, in more rural areas or like villages and things like that, there's obviously a sort of slightly better chance because there's probably more independent businesses. But I mean, we live in the town, so, you know, the majority of our shops and things, they are proper, you know, chain type shops. And they're just not looking to take on, you know, young kids really. I mean, it's a shame because, as I say, he would love to get a job. And he just, you know, he can't seem to get one. So, I mean, he's 13. He's the youngest in his year. Well, he's August anyway, so he might have one or two younger than him, but he's one of the youngest in his year. So, you know, it's a shame for him. I mean, he does look older, and he's pretty grown up, but he would like a job. And then my older son, you know, as you know, he's got an apprenticeship, and so he's now working full-time. And that's obviously spurring my younger one on even more, because he would love nothing more than to have some money of his own. And, you know, I mean, obviously I help him out, you know, financially. But I mean, I guess he wants that independence and the, you know, the feeling of he's got money of his own. And that's fair enough, isn't it? You know, I think we do feel like that when while we're growing up, don't we? We can't wait to have that money. But yeah, I mean, he's asked in quite a lot of places, but I mean, unfortunately, it's always the same answer really. They're looking for older, you know, a lot of places have said 16 minimum. That's a bit of a shame, but I mean, I do keep saying to him, you know, there's no rush. I mean, he is only 13, and to be fair, make the most of it. Make the most of not going to work yet, because my gosh, once you get on that work train, it's never ending, isn't it? I quite like that. I mean, it's not necessarily how I envisaged it, but otherwise I fear I'm just sat here waffling on and just taking forever. So just going to go for that. I think it will look nice anyway. And so often I just think I can sit here overthinking and actually, you know, should have just gone for it and just stuck something down, to be honest. Maybe that brings a bit of balance to that. What do you think? Maybe it's better without anything there. She says as she's still putting things on. I quite like this brown one, or this beigey colour one, neutrally colour one in the back, so I think I will put that there. Like that. For a moment I thought I'd stuck that bee upside down. I thought, oh no, I know my eyesight's bad, but I hadn't realised it had got that bad yet. So, but luckily I hadn't. Perhaps I should have put that there. It just, to me, that just looks like it just needs one more thing. I don't know what. I'm going to pop that there. Let's see whether I can fill that flower up enough. Yeah, can you hear the rain? It's just foul today. Really horrible. Haven't actually stepped foot outside yet. It's Saturday. And my husband's quickly popped to the shops with my daughter. My oldest son is at work because he's still kept his Saturday job at the moment. So he's there, and obviously it's just me and my younger son here at the moment. So that's why it's nice and quiet still. Right, shall I have it like that? Woo. Let me just glue this on. Just have a look. Just suddenly spotted that. It probably would have looked quite nice, but to be honest, haven't really got much room now for popping anything else on there. I've gone so mad everywhere else. I'm going to put that butterfly on there, you know, because it just needed something else. There we go. Oh, stop it. I mustn't keep on doing this. You see, I can just never just leave it. It's always, oh, I'm just going to do something else. Oh, I'll just put something else on there. Oops, we'll just try that. You're right, Sherry. There always is just something else. Well, weirdly, I didn't think that that would look quite right because obviously I already had that green down there, but I do actually really like that. So just going to pop that on as well. Let's face it, you can never have enough bling, can you? Oops. There we go. Oh, doesn't that look pretty now? Right, let me just check that I'm filming, that I'm in frame, because I've had a few technical disasters lately, which you probably know. If you watch my channel, I'm sure that you're aware of some of my technical disasters, but it's so very frustrating. Right, I'm just going to cut one of these pieces out. Journaling cards here, or a journaling card. I do love it when my printer does cooperate with the 200 GSM cardstock. I mean, as I say, I do wonder whether I need to, you know, clean the printer heads really before I try and print with that each time, because I mean, I don't really know what the inside of a printer is like, but you know, other than when you open it up because it's jammed, or to put the new printer in, printer ink. But I guess it kind of, I don't know, whether it makes it more gungy to, I don't know. I don't know really what happens, but there we go. And that's a little journaling card that can just slot in there like that. I think I'll have to take that down slightly narrower at the sides. So take a bit off each side. Okay, just go around that a bit more. Okay. Oh, pretty. Got there eventually. I know that was a bit of a protracted thing, which, sorry about that, guys. So, whilst we're here, I'll just do one more thing. So, let's have a bit of a play around with one of these pockets. So this is one of the undecorated pockets. I mean, I say undecorated, it's not completely plain, as you can see. It has got things on it. It's got the flowers on it, but it's predominantly undecorated. So I thought we'd just quickly have a bit of a play. Okay, just going to fold it up here. Could do with my bone folder, so just fold it along there, and obviously, you know, you're just folding it in then in the natural kind of places like that. I mean, I do try and put the little lines on so you can see where it needs to be folded, but I mean, invariably I do often cover them up with a bit of decoration, so sometimes they're covered up. But I mean, if you always start with the bottom, then you're just basically bringing the sides in to, you know, to meet the bottom. So that's a good guide there for you. Now I'm just going to ink this up again like this, just before we stick anything else on there. Okay. That rain is literally actually getting worse. It's just hideous. Now, this was not my plan, but because I have these things cut out here, I'm just thinking I'm going to be economical and I'm going to just use the things that I have cut out already, I think. So I'm going to pop that there, and let me just have a look. What I could do with is something to just pop on here, poking out a bit. Yeah, I mean, if he'd have walked into town, gosh, he would have got drenched, wouldn't he? Hideous, hideous feather. Okay. It might be that that's not really going to look big enough, but we'll just have a look and see. Okay, let's just commit and pop that down before we can change our minds. There we go, like that. Oh my gosh, I've just looked out, and I mean, my goodness, I hadn't looked up away from my desk for a while, so although I could hear it really chucking it down, the look of it is actually even worse than the sound of it, would you believe? I mean, it sounds like I'm in a caravan, I realise that. I'm not, so I can assure you, it's just because I'm in the loft with one of those Velux windows. It's obviously pretty noisy, I'm afraid, so I apologise for that. I quite like the sound, if I'm truthful, but I'm not saying that everybody does, but it's just unfortunate because obviously, you know, this is the slot that I had to be able to do a video, so I mean, am I the only person who sometimes looks out and thinks, oh yes, it's a rainy day, no one's going to want to do anything, I can do some crafting? That's naughty, isn't it? That's just mean. Just mean that I'm kind of chuffed that the weather's rubbish and we can't really go anywhere and do anything. Well, to be fair, I don't think the kids really mind too much either. It's just my husband really, because he hasn't got any hobbies, so he probably is a bit bored. He's always looking for reasons to have to pop out to the shops on days like that, you know. Oh, do we need some, you know, this, that and the other? Do we need that? Do we need that? Because he's obviously bored. But yeah, I'm kind of often secretly pleased and think, oh gosh, oh good, you know, perfect excuse for a bit of crafting. Right, that's that one. Now, shall we have this up here? Shall we have it there? I'm just stood up now because, and I know I've said this so many times, but honestly, sometimes things look different when you're looking down on them. You know, they have a completely different appearance to when you're sat down, just viewing them flat. I mean, weirdly, I quite like that there. Now, I have no idea why that would be, because it's sort of a randomy place, but I'm going to pop it on there, I think. So, just pop that down. I should have put the lace going around the other way, shouldn't I? Because now I've kind of effectively covered half of it up, but never mind. Now, should we try some bling on here? I had actually originally got out the black to put with this kit because I thought that would look really good, but I then obviously went with the green and with that gold one just now. Oh, I love that. Always love that black bling. Just, oh, yummy. Right. Okay. Pop that down. Whoops. Gorgeous. Really, really pretty. Okay. So, yeah. I'm just wondering whether I have anything I can pull in now as a blank journal page. So hold on 2 moments. I have, but whether I can find it now is a completely different story. Right. Okay. So let me just fold this over nice and quickly. seem to have been really busy lately, but I haven't actually completed a journal since my flights to Fancy, so I never seem to have one like on the go. I've just been busy with other things. So that's the first one, using the printed paper bag like that, and we've got obviously the journaling card that just goes in there. So really pretty, isn't it? And I quite like the contrast between the printed paper bag and then the printing on the copy paper. And then that there is the decorated pocket. So again, obviously you just kind of glue it down on the flaps and then just pop it onto your piece there like that. And then again, obviously you'd have your top loading pocket there to put your journaling cards and things in there. So yeah, I hope that you like the kit. Hope that you enjoyed the quick craft with me. And yeah, so obviously I will put the link below to my shop if you wanted to go and check out the kit. It's obviously in there, called Teardrop Valley. So hope that you enjoyed it and give it a go printing on the paper bags, because I think, you know, they're really fun and endless kind of possibilities with the stuff that you could print on them. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully you'll join me again soon. Thanks then. Bye.